Showcasing local talent, professionals, and everyday people making Salt Lake City what it is today. It's time for another episode of the I Am Salt Lake podcast.
I want to welcome everybody out today to episode 225 of I Am Salt Lake podcast. My name's Chris Hollifield. I'm your host. Welcome everybody to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me as I continue the journey here in Salt Lake City, where I get an opportunity to sit down with locals, professionals, everyday people that are doing some really cool things here in Salt Lake City, making the city a better place to live, making it a place that I could be proud to call home. Hey, today on the podcast, I sit down with Josh and Jake from the New Transit Direction. They were a great local band here in Salt Lake City. We're going to find out their story. We're going to find out about the upcoming Crucialfest that they're playing Saturday, June 18th at Urban Lounge. You know, this band was great. I remember seeing them in early 2000s, seeing them play different venues, Kilby Court especially. And so when I found out I had the opportunity to bring them on this episode, do some catching up, find out why they're playing Crucialfest, I was really excited. So make sure to stay tuned for the interview. I'm going to be playing that here in just a minute. I want to tell you about our show sponsors, though. Oleo Skin and Beard, located right here in Salt Lake City. Great local company. They're making all kinds of great beard oils, beard balms, beard washes. They even make some great skin oils, some skin cleansers. You know, people come up to me all the time and they're asking me, Chris, how do you make your beard look so soft, so shiny? Always looks so good. How do you do it? I'll tell you right here, folks. I'll tell each and every one of you. It's Oleo Skin and Beard. Go to their website, oleoskin.com. Enter in the promo code I Am Salt Lake. It's going to give you 25% off of your entire purchase. Order it right there online, and they'll ship it directly to your household. And if you see them out and about, I know they're going to be doing some upcoming farmers markets. It's that time of the year. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on I Am Salt Lake podcast. I also want to tell you about another new podcast called City Stories. It's all about helping potential movers understand the cities that they're headed to. Really cool thing. They're starting right here in Salt Lake City. Their pilot episode is phenomenal. It's a great overview on what you can expect from the podcast. Just search for City Stories in iTunes and subscribe. Make sure to leave a comment, a review right there in iTunes. That way you can give Salt Lake City a really good name. Let them know you heard the podcast. Let them know that you heard about them on I Am Salt Lake podcast. Give them some love. You can also go to soundcloud.com/City Stories and listen to it right there on SoundCloud. City Stories is produced by move.org. And like I said, they're helping potential movers understand the cities that they're headed to, understand Salt Lake City, getting to know the Salt Lake City neighborhoods, the Silicon Slopes phenomenon, the gay culture here in Salt Lake City. These are just some of the episodes that you can expect with City Stories. Again, go to iTunes, search City Stories, and subscribe right there. And leave them a review while you're at it. And I want to thank them for sponsoring I Am Salt Lake podcast. You know, like I said, New Transit Direction is on this episode. Josh and Jake were kind enough to come and sit down with me, give me some of their time, and share some of their story of the fun that they had as a band in the very early 2000s. We're going to be getting into that. We're going to play some of their music. You get an opportunity to check them out and find out about them. Again, Crucialfest.com. You can find out more about the fest. You can buy tickets right there. See the complete lineup. I mean, there is tons of bands playing Crucialfest this year. It's coming up. It's actually sneaking up very soon here. June 15th through the 18th, multiple different venues here in Salt Lake City. Head on over to the website. Give them some support. This is their 6th year. And if you listen to the last episode, actually, with Ether, that's a great interview that I did with a band playing Crucialfest, big part of the Salt Lake City music scene. And I'm going to have an upcoming episode with former Rocket. But on this episode, Josh and Jake join me. We have a great conversation. I'm going to play that here, but before I do that, I want you to make sure to stay tuned for after the interview. I'm going to be sharing all kinds of stuff happening here in the world of I Am Salt Lake. There's going to be some changes with the podcast, changes for the better, though. So make sure to stay tuned for that after the podcast, or after the interview, excuse me. But anyways, here's that interview with Josh and Jake from the New Transit Direction. I kind of want to get a little bit of history of the band, obviously. Kind of go back, because what year did the band start? Was it 99 or 2000? Do you remember? Because I've seen on different websites, some say 99, some say 2000. I guess it doesn't really matter. Somewhere around that time, huh?
It started in 99.
Okay.
It's gone through different transformations, and but I feel like 99 was when the idea started, the concept started, and we wanted to do a band. And it was basically, I was roommates with Andrew Carruthers, who is the original bass player for New Transit. And we were in our apartment, and we referenced it the Roach Motel, because it was a nasty place. And so I remember he plays bass and I was playing guitar, and we were just kind of writing some riffs together. And it just kind of, I feel like that's when it kind of started for the first, installment? I don't know the word, but yeah.
That's a good word.
Yeah, installment.
And Jake, you've been pretty much since the beginning, like, as well, or when did you come into
I think
the band?
I joined around 2001.
Okay.
I legitimized them.
Yeah, you did. You did it for real.
Were either of you, obviously you were in bands prior to New Transit Direction. Just for fun, even to kind of hear fun names of bands, were any notable bands that either of you were in prior?
Jake, you go first.
I don't know if anything really notable, but I was in a band called Summer of Killing Flies before that.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
So you both, and then Josh, you were like...
I was in Clear, and then I was in, a band. So in Pennsylvania, that's where I grew up.
That's right. I think we've chatted, because when I lived out in Pennsylvania I moved out there. Remind me, in Pennsylvania where
it was York, Pennsylvania.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And it was a little band called God's Fish and Chips.
Okay, so before New Transit Direction, you had some band experience. It wasn't like you just kind of started this band from nothing. You knew what you were doing. And this was back like Kilby Court days, going back. Obviously Kilby Court's still there, but I think back in early 2000, that was a different time for Kilby Court.
Yeah, most of us lived there then.
Yeah.
Like right on the street there?
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah.
And if I remember correctly, were you screen printing shirts out? Because I know they're doing screen printing now. Was that like your business then, or no? It was just more for the band.
Just for the band.
Okay.
Trying to save a buck,
Yeah, we were poor back then.
They were great shirts until somebody washed them once.
Yeah, if you washed them, there's
the design went away. Yeah,
the 3-time limit of washing. Yeah, there was no. It was just like, oh, this was my New Transit shirt.
Now it's a cool faded belly shirt.
Yeah.
I don't know if I asked this yet. But obviously we're missing some of the members of the band tonight. Who are we missing?
I wouldn't say we're missing them.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Just kidding.
Well, no, because obviously we're missing them, and the reason of this, you're going to be playing Crucialfest, and I want to get into that here in a minute. But who are we missing? Who else is going to be playing? Crucialfest.
Yeah. So we're missing Lebo.
Okay.
Who played bass with us from, I think it was like 2003 to 2004, or no, 2002 to 2004.
Yeah, and Levi played guitar at first also.
And he was the original guitar player for New Transit in 99. So that's a trip. Yeah, he went from guitar to bass.
And what other band? I know he was in some other bands in Salt Lake, too.
Yeah, he was in, what is that?
He's been in a million.
Yeah, he has been. Oh, so The Kill.
Okay.
Is one of the bands he was in.
He was in Clear also, right?
Yeah, he was in Clear after I had left the band. He's been in a ton of bands. Excessive Force? I think that's one of the bands.
And yeah, he's been in quite a Excessive Force. There's a band I remember from back in the day.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was in with Dan Gump.
Back in the hardcore straight edge days.
Yes.
And who else are we missing?
We're missing Dan Whitesides.
Yeah. Well, he's in LA now, right?
Yeah. So he lives in California, and he's on tour currently with The Used. They're playing, I think, their first 2 albums back to back, like consecutive days. So they're doing that, having fun, I'm sure.
But he'll be back here to play for Crucialfest.
He'll be back for Crucial. Yeah.
We're gonna Skype him in.
Yeah.
So okay,
that's John Finnegan. Oh, yeah.
Let's. In the joys of podcast, I mean, we might jump all over the place. I want to kind of get right into even Crucialfest. And I asked you before we started recording, how did that all go down? Like, I mean, Jerem just literally asked you, hey, play a show. And you're like, okay.
Yes.
I mean, was that simple?
Well, we'd been talking about doing something like that for a while. So it was just the perfect opportunity for it.
And then you had to make some phone calls to the other members.
Yeah, I think the only concern, or the person I think we're all like, all right, Dan, are you going to be able to do this? Because you live in California and you're like in a full-time band and you're on the road a lot. And so I think Dan was kind of the variable in the equation. We're like, we're not sure, if we'll be able to make it happen. But we're fortunate enough that this time around he said, yeah, I can do it. And the scheduling worked out perfect because right after he gets off tour, he'll be able to come out and play.
And I wrote down you're playing Saturday, June 18th at Urban Lounge. So for people listening, come out to that show. I mean, this is 2016.
I know.
Almost 16 years later.
Yeah. So we broke up in 2006.
Okay. Well, 10 years later.
But still, yeah. I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah.
When's the last time you've all played together?
Jake and I, Jake and I have actually played in a band. We didn't really play any shows. We played once at Urban. It's called Nautical Sons.
Okay.
We did a band with the original bass player Andrew Carruthers and Kevin Ivers, who's played drums in a ton of bands in Salt Lake. So, but
but as the whole band. I mean, you.
As New Transit?
Yeah. I mean, when's the last time you've even practiced? 10 years?
10 years.
Hopefully you get together and practice before the 18th of June, or no?
We're thinking about it.
There's talk. Yeah, there's talk of practice.
Are you playing any other shows besides Crucialfest?
I think Crucialfest will probably be the last show we ever play.
Okay, well, you just heard it right here on the podcast.
I would imagine.
Well, because I know like Former Rocket is playing a couple of shows, I think, during that time period, during the kind of Crucialfest dates. And I just wasn't sure if you guys were going to do any other dates.
Yeah, I think they're doing, Former Rocket's doing, I think, the warm-up of Crucialfest, which is like earlier in the week. And then they're going to play their big show at Urban on the 17th. And then we play the following night. So
what's it been like? I mean, since they announced that you're playing Crucialfest? I mean, I'm sure you've heard some feedback, right?
Yeah,
a little bit.
I don't think it's like coming in volumes of people like rejoicing.
The fans aren't out in droves. Yeah. Well, there was that parade, but I don't think it was for that. So
it wasn't for that.
Scratch that.
So, okay, I have a question. Actually, you know what? There's a couple of tracks we're gonna put in on this episode. Do you think we have a couple of tracks we can play, Josh? Maybe? Or
yeah, absolutely.
So let's play a track now.
Okay.
And then I have a question from a listener that wanted me to ask you. Both of you, the band. Do you know what song we're going to play, or we'll just play a song here?
Then this song will be called Houston.
Houston.
Yes.
Any meaning behind the song or anything?
Not really. I mean, it's just, I think it was just the time when we wanted to rock, and I don't, not to sound cliche, but it was just a cool time when we're feeling it.
We were having fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Just young go-hards.
Yeah.
A whole different lifetime ago, right?
Yeah, I thought we'd be in flying cars by now.
Yeah.
We'll play the track, and then we have I have a question. We'll get back to chatting here, so hang tight. Do you know Matthew Nanez by chance?
Yeah.
He's the one who gave me a question to ask you. He said, both New Transit and Former Rocket were influential bands for him. Anyway, he asked a question I wrote it down here to get the wording right. When the buzz of Utah bands around 01 to 03 was happening, how real was it for you as far as your, let's see here, I've got the wording right here. Let me re-ask this here. When the buzz of Utah bands around 01 to 03 was happening, how real was it to them as far as their careers went?
Let's break it down again. So how real?
So I mean, when the buzz of Utah music back in 01 to 03 was happening, how real was it for you? Like, I mean, you were living the dream. You were playing. I mean, you were getting out there. I mean, was it like a blur or what was going on?
It's pretty exciting. And our first tour was in 2002.
Yeah.
We got out of town when the Olympics were here.
Yeah, that's right.
Left for that. And I think the first show we ever played on a tour was for Capitol Records.
So when that was happening, so when that was happening, was it like, well, I mean, this was a long time ago. So, I mean, I know how it is even for me to try to go back in time. I mean, you're on tour and you're like, okay, we made it. Did you feel that way?
Well, okay. So
no,
me personally, I never felt that way. I felt like I was a bundle of nerves all the time.
Really?
Back in the day.
Why? Just,
I don't know. I just, it's just like, I think you're just like, wow, we're playing in front of this many people tonight. And it's going to be, you just kind of get in the zone of just like, all right, we're just going to play our music and have fun and just bring we've always been kind of a grassroots band that's really heavily influenced by like Fugazi and Jawbox and Burning Airlines. So I feel like those bands were kind of just more like, they weren't like glam rock stars, and they didn't have that vibration or that vibe. And I feel like that's kind of where we were too. We were pretty humble. And I think when we were playing and touring, we didn't have the mindset, or I didn't have the mindset of like, oh, we've made it. You know what I mean?
I kind of did think we made it because our whole goal was to have fun, and we were having
That's
fun.
True.
So
in that
I mean, you were making money doing it though, right? Or no?
Oh, no.
No?
Never. Well, sometimes.
Going broke pretty much.
Yeah. Most of the time.
Never. I mean, you were probably just touring in typical punk rock vans, or you never had tour buses?
No,
or?
we just had vans.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just trying to even paint a picture for people listening a little bit to kind of understand. Because you went out to the East Coast.
Yeah.
That was to record. Did you tour some of the East Coast?
I think on that particular, when we recorded in College Park, Maryland, it was basically we drove out there to record.
Okay.
And it was just, we drove 24 hours, I think. I don't remember. It was like the longest drive ever. And so we got out there, and that was basically just the goal, just to go out there, record with kind of our hero, Jay Robbins.
And how did that happen?
We basically just recorded some demos on, I think, a 4-track.
Yeah.
And then we sent it to Jay, and we're like, hey, Jay, we really want you to record us. And he was like, oh, yeah, you guys are cool. Yeah, for sure. So it just kind of happened that way. It was just like, we just sent him our music, and he was like, yeah, you know, I get where you're coming from. And
for people listening that might not be familiar with who Jay Robbins is, I mean, he was recording for what other bands?
So Jay played in Jawbox and Government Issue, a lot of bands from the DC area.
Yeah. So very influential bands for you back then, especially.
And also Burning Airlines, he was, sang and played guitar in that band. And, but he's recorded so many bands, that we love. Like, Mock Orange is a band that we actually had the privilege to tour with a little bit, and, I mean, the recordings that he does, especially those Mock Orange records, are just phenomenal. They just sound real.
Right.
There's no processed vocals, or it's just really the way the band sounds, and it sounds awesome.
So how long were you recording with him for? Was it a week or a month or a couple of days, or?
I think it was about a week, if memory serves.
Yeah. I think it was 7 or 8 days.
Was a lot of that time period just kind of, I think I know I've asked this, but I know how it is even for me. We were even chatting before we came in here, and we're like, oh yeah, you remember from back in the shows? I was the guy always selling the records. But a lot of that, I've forgotten so much of that time period. And I don't know if it's just getting older. But is it tough sometimes to remember everything?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I guess that's kind of a dumb question. Probably.
No, it's not a dumb question because it's funny. I think about that a lot. I'm like, did you
journal any of it? I would have just been journaling
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I spent a little time writing stuff down, just events. But those journals are gone. They're like, I don't know where they're at.
Pawn shop,
probably. Yeah.
Okay, so then what happened with the recording with Jay Robbins? That was actually another question that Trevor Hale, I don't know if you know Trevor Hale.
Yeah, Trevor.
He actually asked this on Twitter. I sent out a question. I said, I'm going to be chatting with these guys. And his question is, where the hell can people get your music these days? It's really hard to find. And we were chatting. I don't know if you want to talk about that on the recording, but you go ahead and share with what's going to be, you're going to reissue.
Yeah. So it's actually has never came out before. So it's not even a reissue. It's like, this is
a brand new release.
So it's like a new release for the most part. So it's the Jay Robbins recording in its entirety, like the whole session we did with Jay in the studio. And we released like 2 songs off of it for like an EP when we went on our first tour, but now we're just releasing the whole record. So, and that comes out actually next week, which I think is the 25th.
Okay. So this, shoot, I might, I was going to wonder if this podcast might be up, but I might do some juggling around, and I don't know. I don't know how we can maybe do, I don't know. Anyway, so the 25th.
Yeah. The record will be on iTunes.
On iTunes.
Yes. It's like a digital release, so to speak. So
that's all you need to do.
Yeah.
I mean, who really buys tangible music anymore? It's kind of sad how music's gone to this digital.
And I agree with that.
Again, jumping around. But do you remember back 1999, 2000, it was like you would go to live shows. That's where you would buy your music, especially the underground music. Or you'd have to buy it mail order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Through different, do you remember like Very Distribution?
Yeah, I do.
Out of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You get the big catalog.
You get the catalog, yeah. And then you just page through it.
You would have to page through it, and then Maximum Rock and Roll. And now it's just iTunes.
I know, it's crazy.
Musicians, how do you feel about the way that music shifted that way?
Maybe bittersweet.
Yeah, whatever gets it out there is great, but at the same time, I'm old, so it's different.
Yeah. It's like, give me convenience, you know? It's like...
No, and I'm with you on that. I mean, because I get a lot of books like Kindle and stuff like that, but there is something about owning it and looking at it and looking at it from cover to cover, the lyrics or the pictures inside the CDs or the 7-inch records. And
oh yeah, and it's so, and I'm glad you said 7-inch because it's funny because just the other day I was like going through my old 7-inches and just being like, this was when like you had amazing packaging. There was actually art that went with music, and I think they're just so hand in hand. I mean, it's like now it's a little different day and age, from when we were, younger, buying 7-inches, buying records.
But it's a lot. I would agree, though, it is a lot easier to put music out online versus, I dabbled. I tried the whole record label thing at one time and put out a 7-inch for a band out of Seattle, and there is so much. I mean, you can only fit like 3 or 4 songs on a 7-inch, and so for all the money and all the time to put that out, it's kind of sad of how much effort it is compared to just putting it up on iTunes. So
that's true. Yeah.
Anyway, how many songs is that going to be?
It's going to be 10 songs.
So I'm really a full length.
I mean, it's like a full length album. Like I said, there's some songs that we stopped playing probably in 2002, like a song called Threats, like we haven't played that song forever. And, we're going to be playing it. I don't think we're playing it Crucial. Oh crap.
I don't know.
Do you already have your set list written for Crucialfest?
Yes.
I'm not going to make you say it, But
Good, because we can't remember.
Yeah.
no, and that's fine.
That works.
So okay, so how many releases did you put out then? Was it 2? Did you have 2 releases with the band or no?
I guess
Because it was one CD.
We recorded one with Andy Patterson, right?
Yeah, that was our first 6-song EP. And that was 2000, probably 2000. Or 2001.
Yeah, 2001.
2001.
Didn't that get picked up on a label or no?
No.
That was just a self-released.
Yeah, we just put it out. We had like my buddy from DC design the artwork, and it was just like this blue, beautiful blue color.
It was beautiful.
Beautiful. And then the next was like after we recorded with Jay, we were kind of shopping that record around, and it didn't get picked up. But we took a couple songs and made like a little. It's called the Lemon EP, and it's like Skin of a Lemon on the cover, and it says New Transit Direction. But then we released kind of our full length with some records out of New York. Like Sammy from, do you know Sammy? Youth of Today, Sigler.
Sure. Yeah.
And released it with some, and then we recorded like new songs with some of the songs from the J. Robbins record in New York. So it was recorded at a studio called The Shed in Manhattan, and yeah. I mean, that's the only thing. Those are the 3 things we've released. So
okay. So you recorded in DC plus in Manhattan as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that was later on. That was
Approximately how many years apart was that?
So Jay was 2002, and then the recording in New York was, I can't even remember the day.
Seems like 3 years maybe had passed.
Yeah, 3
too.
years probably had passed.
It's
And
really tough to remember this
it's
stuff.
tough to remember. Yeah.
I'm sure it is. I couldn't even.
Perhaps we should have prepared.
We should have prepared.
No.
Where are my notes?
That's half the fun of these
Oh, yeah, I'm just
podcasts, in
kidding.
my opinion. You know. So how was it Josh? You used to live in Pennsylvania
Yeah.
before you came to Utah, but I'm curious. You know, these young guys from Utah going to the East Coast and playing music. I mean, did you get any like weird feedback from people being like, "Oh, you guys are from Utah"? Like, you know what I mean? Like kind of that Utah stigma,
Where are your hooves?
or kind of that, like people being like, "Oh, these guys can really play," not expecting maybe you to be able to play because again, you're from Utah. And you have to, the internet was around back then, but it wasn't like it is today. And so people didn't really communicate that way. So, they probably didn't realize, wow, there's normal people in Utah. I'm just wondering how it was for you that way. I don't know if I'm really making sense with
No,
my
you
question.
totally are. You're making
absolutely. Yeah.
total sense. And I think there is that underlying like,
I don't think so much anymore.
no,
maybe.
but I think then it was kind of like, oh, really? You guys are from Utah? And we're like, yeah.
Yeah, I think they were probably more surprised at how hard we would party after the show than anything that happened during it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, I didn't think people in Utah drank.
Yeah.
So on my next question, most memorable live show. Do you remember like a live show that sticks out, whether that's Utah or out of state? Anyone in
For
particular?
me, there's definitely one that sticks out. Jake, do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. We played a show in, oh my goodness, I'm trying to remember the name, La Crosse, Wisconsin. And it was at a place called The Warehouse. Is that
Yeah.
right? Okay. And those guys, the people who run The Warehouse, I think it's Steve, amazing. And if any touring bands ever go through Wisconsin, please go to The Warehouse in La Crosse, Wisconsin. They will treat you like royalty. They're so nice, so amazing. Kids are really into music. But the show that really just kind of blew me away was a show we played in. These kids that had gone to the show, we played in their kitchen right after we played at the venue in La Crosse. And they're just like, come play at our kitchen, blah, blah. And we're just like, yeah, sure. So it was basically like a house show. And it would just happen spontaneous. spontaneously. And it was probably one of the funnest, coolest things ever because there was no microphone, just our instruments, and I was just screaming the words and the lyrics, and kids were like really into it. And it was 2:00 in the morning. I'm sure the neighbors were pissed, but it was one of those moments where you're just like, wow, like we're on the road right now. We're having the time of our lives. And we're playing in a kitchen, and it is the coolest.
Yeah, it was great. They took all the mattresses from their house and put them around the doors and windows to try and keep the sound down.
and to me, that stands out because it's like these kids just had like just such heart, you know, and it was like it's a rare thing, you know.
Yeah, that was great.
Any other ones for you, Jake, or was that probably pretty memorable as well?
Oh, very memorable. Probably one of the most memorable ones was another house show that we had played in Josh's childhood friend's basement. The first time we went back to York and played.
Oh, it was in Lancaster.
Lancaster, yeah. So I'd heard all about these guys and these bands for so long and how great everyone was, and to like meet them and be a part of that scene was really fun. That was a really fun night. Yeah. They had a little kiddie pool with a keg in it right in front of us.
Do bands still play house shows? I mean, I remember going to house shows back in the day, even here in Salt Lake and up towards Ogden and stuff, but maybe I'm just too old.
I hope they do. I don't know, but I hope they do because that's the best.
You know, I've wondered that, you know, there was a show I remember years ago. I don't remember how it originated, but Brothers Keeper. Do you remember the band Brothers Keeper?
Yeah, I totally do. Yeah.
I swear it was Brothers Keeper. They were supposed to play at venue. I want to say, do you remember there was a place up in Roy?
The Comm Lab?
Yeah, the Comm Lab.
Yeah.
See, I'm not familiar with that. Jake is definitely.
And I think Brothers Keeper was supposed to play there, if I'm not mistaken, and then we got shut down. It
was getting shut down regularly.
Yeah, and then somebody recommended, come over to my house and play, and I just remember it being the raddest experience. So, I mean, I understand, like, and then as a band, it must have been amazing.
Yeah, so fun.
Yeah.
Let's play, I want to make sure to get another song on this recording. If that's what, do you think we have another song here, Josh, we can get in here, or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, what track should we play? What song?
Let's do Means to an End.
Means to an End. Anything special behind this song, or?
It's about losing your mind.
Losing your mind.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it happens.
And then he does the mad laugh.
Now, the songs we're playing on this podcast too, before we play it, will they be available anywhere on the release, the J. Robbins release that you're doing on iTunes, or no? So
yeah,
people
so
can
far
actually
both of them
back
are on there.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So we'll play Means to an End, and I have a few more questions to ask before we wrap this podcast up, but we'll be right back.
Today's the day I finally recognize this went way wrong and way too far. Double-sided vision, reason to pretend that this might be the last mistake. Diagnose it right this time, right between the eyes. This shed's enough. The engine room was cold and dark, and we just danced around. The disaster, nothing mattered. The engine room was filled with parts no one could discern. And it still burns, it still burns.
All right. I have a question. The music, or maybe I don't know if I asked this one yet. I don't think I did. I chatted with so many bands recently. The music scene back then compared to now, what would you say the biggest difference is? There's got to be differences.
I don't know. That's kind of a tough question because I feel like,
or the Salt Lake music. Let's narrow it down. Salt Lake. I mean, obviously, you probably already figured I meant that, but
yeah. I feel like, and it's probably the same for the generation, or not generation. I don't want to sound too old, but like the kids that are in their early 20s, it's probably the same for them that it was for us. I feel like it was just like a tight knit community of musicians, and I still feel like it probably is, with the kids that are like in their early 20s and things like that, because I don't know, Salt Lake is such a cool town as far as music goes, because everybody today I went to get coffee and I saw people from bands that I played with in 2004, and like Kathy Foy, and like she played in the Downers, and I saw her today and I was getting coffee. I'm like, hey, Kathy. And, and it's just cool because I feel like Salt Lake is just such a, like even seeing you, Chris, like today, I was like, oh, Chris. Yeah. I mean, I remember you from a long time ago, not a long time ago.
I was the goofy kid selling records and zines.
But you weren't goofy. You were cool. And I was like, yeah, that's Chris. And it's just like, I don't know. We all kind of know each other.
Sure.
And
well, Small Lake City, man.
It's totally small.
I mean, there's truth there behind that. Wherever you go, you're going to run into people, really, that you might know.
It's great.
Well, how long? I mean, you've lived in Salt Lake. You moved here from Pennsylvania, what, like
97.
97. And then, Jake, did you grow up here, right? Or where are you?
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
I was born in Alaska, but I pretty much grew up in Ogden.
So, I mean, you spent time here and you grew up here. Did either of you move away at all, or pretty much always been here?
No, just been in Utah, in Salt Lake.
Wow. Now, actually, okay, the Downers. There's a name I haven't. What? I don't know. I find it fun to kind of go down memory lane a little bit. Some of the other bands that, like we were talking about, Trip Hammer.
Oh yeah, Trip Hammer.
But with band, what are some other like venues and when I had Ether on the podcast, when I recorded with them, I mean, we were talking about the Moroccan and
Moroccan,
and kind of going down memory lane. Any bands or venues that you remember playing at in Salt Lake that might just kind of be fun to remember? I don't know.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Deviate.
Of course.
Deviate, I mean, I loved playing at Deviate. I mean, it was just always such a fun experience. And Moroccan, I mean, of course. Like, I remember seeing Ether for the first time and just being floored. Like, and it was in the Moroccan, and I was like, whoa, is there going to be a puppet show? Like,
what's happening?
Yeah, what's happening here? And like, you're just like, whoa, they just totally slayed. Like, and I just feel like there's so many great venues, so many great bands. Like the Downers.
Probably so many that you don't want to forget any of them either, I guess. You don't want to leave any bands out. I don't know. Let's rephrase that. What were some of your favorites back in then?
Like local bands?
Yeah, local bands back in 2000.
Well, I loved Form of Rocket. Still do.
Yeah, Form of Rocket for sure.
I loved Toltalk Trio.
Yeah, definitely. There's so many bands, and my brain is so dusty.
That's probably an unfair question, I guess.
No, it's not. It's a great question because it makes me think, and I want to remember.
So there was Clear.
You might have
Trip
to
Hammer,
edit this part out.
Wasn't it Waterfront?
Yeah, Waterfront was a band. Yeah, with Ty Lee.
Yeah. Well, Ty was in Trip Hammer as well.
Yeah, he was in Trip Hammer as well. Yeah.
And then,
and there was so a band that I remember seeing for the first time. It's like right when I moved here, in 97 or 98 was Chris Bowers and Andrew Jorgensen.
Oh, Lindell Control.
And they played with one of my favorite bands. They played with, I think, Kerosene 454.
Lindell Control. Lindell Control.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
Chris Bowers, man. I mean,
that's right. I forgot about that band.
Can play the drums.
Yeah. What happened to them? Do you know?
I think Andrew moved to San Francisco, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. I mean, I don't
You
want
might,
to.
yeah.
I don't want to
Rewrite his life story.
rewrite his story
No,
or their story.
because they put out a 7-inch.
Yeah, totally.
And I remember I used
it
to
was
play
awesome.
that all the time.
Yeah.
Gosh, I forgot about that band.
And there's Sandkicker too. Like I remember
Sandkicker?
Sandkicker. Yeah. I mean, they ruled, and yeah, I love those guys. And
Do you remember when shows were down at Classic Skating? Down in like near Sandy off of 90. Did New
Yeah.
Transit play any shows
No,
there? Or
we
was
never
that
did.
more hardcore?
that was like I remember Clear played there. That was before I played in Clear.
Okay.
And they played with like I can't remember who they played with actually. But there was like Quicksand played there at
Yeah.
Classic.
Remember was it Hold Strong? There was a band Hold Strong, I think, from Massachusetts. I think they played there.
I think so, yeah.
And then remember Lifeless played a bunch of shows there.
Yeah.
I didn't know if New Transit played any.
No, we didn't play Classic, no.
And then there
we
was
did like Deviate, Moroccan, and Kilby was
home.
really, we need to talk about, if you want to talk about venues,
Yeah.
for us, Kilby Court was like our home. Because it's like I don't know, it just, the vibration there, the vibe there was just so awesome. And it just, it fit kind of who we were, you know, just.
And it was incredibly easy because we lived and practiced there.
Yeah, we live pretty much, yeah. But I mean, like Phil, Sherburne, and Leah Bell. I mean, there wouldn't be a Kilby without Phil.
See, and I need to get Phil on this podcast.
Yeah, you really should.
And get the history of the origination. Because, I mean, it blows me away with that Kilby Court has been... It really didn't get hassled by anybody, right? I mean, it's...
Not really.
It kind of got left alone. A little bit by the police and stuff.
Well, when it first opened, they had no license, and it was just BYOB every night.
But they still don't have a license, like a liquor. I mean, they can't sell
but
liquor.
they didn't have any sort of official.
like a
business
business
at all.
license.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and there's a lot of memory. Anyway, well, let's. Okay, so you're going to be at Crucialfest on the 18th, Saturday.
Yep.
Can people buy anything at Crucial? Are you going to have anything tangible for sale there? Any releases? You mentioned something else you're going to be selling there.
Yeah, we're gonna have. We're gonna throw it back to a time when we had koozies, or is that how you pronounce it, Jake?
Yeah, I think so.
Koozies, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna throw it back to I party with the New Transit Direction cozies and maybe shirts.
Please have shirts.
Okay,
Please
we're gonna
have
try
shirts.
to.
Yeah, Lance Saunders found a bag of our old shirts.
So we've got some old shirts,
Like legitimate old shirts,
Yeah.
not like reprinted ones.
No, not the ones we made though. So
yeah, not the
nobody has
ones
to
that
worry
we
about
did with
washing
our
them.
like when we screen printed them ourselves, and they ended up being, the 3-wash.
Well, cool.
Yeah,
So come out there and you could buy, depending on when this goes up, you're going to have the iTunes release the 25th of May.
right.
And anything else? I don't know. I think that, I know you have a Facebook page. That's pretty new, right?
Yeah, well, I think
it's old, but was very unattended for a long time.
very unattended
Attended too.
Yeah, but yeah. So the Facebook, we have the Facebook page.
Do you have a website or no?
No, we don't right now. I mean, I think it's just we've been so.
But do you need one? This, like you
No,
said, this is
no.
going to be your last
We don't need
show,
one.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
you're not doing anything else after
Exactly. So, I mean, I'm just looking forward to seeing all the friends and all the people that we used to hang out with, used to play shows for and with and to and all that at Kilby, and just having everybody come out. It's just like almost like a family reunion. And I think that's what I'm looking forward to the most, where we play and everybody just has a great time.
There's going to be a lot of old people there.
Yeah, I know.
Those old
I just hope.
guys.
We should probably start the show at 6.
Yeah, at least, and
Right
then
when everyone's done
maybe
at Denny's.
have like something that says "Don't break a hip" on this. So,
Absolutely.
Well, cool. That's anything. I mean, that's it. That's all. I mean, that's probably as good as any to end the show at. I mean, I've enjoyed chatting with the both of you.
yeah, we have two.
Yeah, thank you
Thanks,
very
Chris.
much.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Come check you out on June 18th. But thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Many thanks goes out to Josh and Jake from New Transit Direction for coming on this episode. I had a great time catching up with them, talking with them, learning a little bit about the New Transit Direction, and talking about the upcoming show at Crucialfest. Again, go to crucialfest.com. You can get wristbands, you can get tickets, you can see the complete lineup of all the bands playing. I've chatted with Ether. They were in episode 224. They're going to be playing Crucialfest. And an upcoming episode of I Am Salt Lake is with former Rocket. They're going to be playing Crucialfest. All Salt Lake City bands that were amazing. They still are amazing, but they're getting back together and playing Crucialfest. And I'm honored to have all three of those bands as part of the podcast. And so again, Crucialfest.com is their website. It's happening here in Salt Lake City, many different venues, June 15th through the 18th. Go to the website, find out more about it. But like I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, before we listen to the interview, there's some things happening in the world of I Am Salt Lake, some changes, some much needed changes. I'm joined by Chrissy Shelley. I just wanted you all to hear her voice.
Hi. How you doing?
Thank you so much, Chrissy, for joining me and kind of, you're not just joining me on this episode. You're joining the forces of I Am Salt Lake.
Right.
And you and I, we've done some podcasts together.
We have.
And I was sick of spreading myself personally so thin.
Yeah.
And you were doing some stuff behind the scenes. Share with the listeners what you were doing. What have you been doing?
I don't know. A lot of design work. The website, logo, banners, business cards, stickers,
And those are all due to Chrissy. And I'm very grateful for her.
Well, thanks.
So I want her to be part of the interviews. We got some podcast episodes. For the last almost 4 years, all I've really been doing is interviews. I want to get in the depth of Salt Lake. I want to find out some history of Salt Lake, do some podcast episodes that way.
And really, and if we have people who would like to be contributors for the blog, we're looking to really expand the blog and really be a good resource for Salt Lake and all of its places and things
in Salt Lake. And you've actually done a few blog posts. That was kind of one thing I couldn't do because I was spread so thin. I work a day job already with the podcast, or not with the podcast. I work a day job and I do the podcast at night.
Yeah.
And you've kind of stepped in and you've done some blog posts.
Yeah, just a few.
I'd like to do some blog posts. But if there's anybody out there, shoot Chrissy or myself a message.
Yeah.
Let us know you might be interested in doing some sort of contribution. I could use your help, guys, in any help I can get, whether that's blog posts, whether that's coming on the podcast. If you've done, I don't know. If you have any ideas, reach out to us.
Or even ideas for things that you'd like us to talk about. We might be coming up with some new things, and we'd love to hear what you would like to hear about.
Exactly. You could tweet us. I've been doing a lot more with Twitter. I Am Salt Lake on Twitter is where you can find me. I know Chrissy's on Twitter.
Yep, at Chrissy Tweets.
Chrissy Tweets. Find us on Facebook. Connect with us. We want to make this podcast Salt Lake City's podcast, not just our podcast, not just one person's podcast. It's everybody's podcast. And while we're on that subject, if you go to iamsaltlake.com, there's a donate tab there. This would be really great if, donate $1 or $2. We really could use some help.
Yeah, $1 goes a long way.
It really does. Hit that donate button. You can also go to the support tab, become a monthly donor. The podcast will always be free, though, so don't worry. We'll continue putting it out free, but it isn't free to produce, and so that's why we could use some help from the listeners.
Takes our time and finances.
It takes a lot of finances to host. 225 episodes.
Yeah. And you've been hosting for 4 years?
Yeah, that's a lot of hosting fees.
I don't even want to do that math.
And, I want to keep doing this podcast, but I can't do it alone. And that's why I asked you, Chrissy, to step in. I want to ask other people to step in and become blog writers. Totally. I want to ask other people to come in and just take away some of the pressure.
Yeah.
So it's not so overwhelming.
Absolutely. And that way it really incorporates more of Salt Lake.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. The art battle
Yeah.
was last Friday. I know you came out to that, Chrissy.
At the Leonardo.
I got lucky enough. Ben asked me from the Leonardo to come and host the art battle. It was the first art battle they ever did. It was the first art battle I've ever hosted or been part of.
First one I've ever seen.
I didn't know what to really expect.
Yeah. I was like, art battle? What do they do? Sharpen their brushes and throw them at each other?
For real, right? Like, it sounds brutal.
It does.
And but it was a lot of fun. Tessa, let's see if I get the names right. Tessa and Grace Reiser, they're sisters, and then Dawn Taylor.
Yeah, amazing artists.
They're amazing artists. I actually had an opportunity to chat with them before the battle. That's going to be coming out in an upcoming episode. But if you see any other advertisements, if you see me post about any of these art battles, come out to them. They're a lot of fun.
They are.
And I know they talked about doing some more during the Arts Fest, the end of June. So come out to that. The next live podcast with Connect is Friday, June 10th. It's the second Friday of every month. So make sure to come out to that. I want to get the public there. I want to get all the listeners of the podcast there. I also want to tell you about Lyft, though. I've talked about Lyft a lot. I've shared Lyft with the listeners. This is a great way to get around Salt Lake City. It's a great way if you want to go out bar hopping. I know Chrissy and I use Lyft a lot.
We do.
When we go hit up the bars. And
it's so helpful because you don't have to find a parking spot. You don't have to worry about driving.
Exactly.
So nice.
Just open the app on your phone. So what you're going to want to do, download the app on your smartphone, enter in the promo code IamSaltLake. It's going to give you $50 in free ride credits.
Which I've actually used.
Yeah, you've done
It's
it.
amazing.
You've done it because I found out you never took Lyft. So
Yeah.
So I said, well, enter in I Am Salt Lake, and then you got 10 rides that are $5 off just by entering in the promo code before you request your first Lyft. It's just a special thing that we're doing to give back to the podcast listeners. So many thanks to Lyft. Many thanks to everybody that's done it. I mean, this is a great way to support the podcast as well. So that's going to do it. I'm going to probably have another episode midweek, though. We're going to have another episode of I Am Salt Lake. I have an episode with Connect that I need to get up. So make sure to subscribe in iTunes, Stitcher Radio, IamSaltLake.com. We got a voicemail. I want to start using this voicemail more.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What is the voicemail? 385-202-5926, I believe, is the voicemail number. You could text us or call us. And I'd love to hear feedback that way. If you want to say hello, I don't know. Just call up the voicemail and fill it up.
Yeah.
And do whatever you want. I'm trying to, I want to make the I Am Salt Lake community a little bit tighter. So anything more you want to add, Chrissy?
Looking forward to all the new changes.
Don't be nervous, Chrissy.
I'm a little nervous. You're
going to do great with this. So you all have a great rest of your holiday weekend, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Bye now.